Hi, I'm Leslie with the St. Johns County Public Library System, and today we are going to get twisty. It's National Pretzel Day, and that came about in 2003 by Ed Rendell, who was the governor of Pennsylvania. Pretzels were a huge help to their economy, so he wanted to celebrate that and give them recognition. So we are at Chez Lane. When my daughter was younger, we used to play around when we were cooking and pretend that it was our restaurant, and so it's named after her. And we would do order up table 4. So this cookbook is Honest Pretzels, 64 other amazing recipes for cooks ages 8 and up, and it's by Molly Katzen, who also wrote the Moosewood cookbook. Now her pretzel recipe, or the dough recipe, calls for pastry flour, and I do not have pastry flour. I just want to use my all-purpose flour, and all of these ingredients are things that I had in the house. So I looked online and I found this easy homemade soft pretzels recipe, and just over 400 users gave it 5 stars. So we're going to go for this one. And I'll include the recipe at the end. So I do have a mixing bowl, I have 2 cookie sheets, I have a slotted spoon, coarse salt, some sugar in my old spaghetti sauce glass jar. I'm gonna upcycle that. Here's my all-purpose flour, baking soda. Here's some active yeast. I accidentally bought this when I was searching for nutritional yeast, but we're going to use it today. Have some butter and some olive oil, and then a big pot that we're going to boil some water. I also have 2 sizes of measuring cups. I'm going to use my 1 cup and then my 2 cup. Here's my pot of water that we're going to boil the pretzels in for just about 30 seconds. So this is 9 cups of water and then half a cup of baking soda. So this says, whisk the yeast into warm water. So it does say 1.5 cups of warm water. And we're going to start activating that yeast. So it's either 1 standard packet of yeast or 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And it's a little bit wet today and a little cool, so I'm hoping that does not affect my dough. And it says whisk the yeast and then allow to sit for 1 minute. Now we're going to whisk in 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of the melted butter. And then we're going to slowly add in 3 cups of flour. Here's 2, and here's about 1 more. And if you have one of those mixers that can handle dough, great. I am going to have to use a very old-fashioned method of my hands. So let me get into this. And if you have young ones helping you, they will have a blast with this. So I'm just looking for my dough to not be sticky. So far, so good. I might add just a little bit more. And I'm thinking we are at a good consistency. So I'm going to pull this on out. And now we get to really have fun. So we're going to knead this for about 3 minutes. If it's still a little too sticky, just throw a little bit of flour down. And this recipe says it only takes 10 minutes to rise. So while that's rising, I've got my pot of water boiling and it is ready. So I have it rolled into a ball and it says to lightly cover with a dish towel, and we're gonna let it work its magic. I did find that I needed to give this extra time to rise, so it's probably been about an hour, hour and a half, and now I'm ready to start forming my pretzels. So we're gonna cut this, I'm gonna do 4 sections. And I'm gonna start rolling them out nice and long. I do need just a little bit of flour. It's still a little sticky. I am going to put a little bit of oil on my pan. I did not have any parchment paper or those mats, so I'm just using a regular cookie sheet and just putting a little bit of oil on them. And let's see if I have learned. I had to look it up how to do a pretzel. So now I am making my pretzel. I got a nice horseshoe. I'm gonna flip the ends, and then fold those up to the top, and then pitch them. And then these are gonna go into that baking soda boiling water bath for like 30 seconds. It said any longer and it's gonna take on that metallic taste. So just make sure you don't over cook them in that water. I did drop them into the boiling water for about 30 seconds, got them onto the baking sheets, dusted them with some of that coarse salt, and now they are in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. I wasn't sure how well these were going to turn out, but they look absolutely delicious, and I think my next batch will be even better. These are quite tasty. Thank you to the Pennsylvania Dutch for bringing them to America. And happy National Pretzel Day. When I returned to Shea Bibliothèque, this Nadia Bakes was waiting for me, and there is a very similar recipe in her book to what I used. And looking through it, I also came across this wonderful recipe for king's cake. This past Fat Tuesday, I had wanted one so badly and went down to Publix and they were sold out. So this will be perfect. This is the recipe that I used, and I found it on Sally's Baking Addiction. Just put in a search for pretzel, came up with this easy homemade soft pretzels, and for the most part it was pretty easy. So I hope that you enjoy, and if you are celebrating National Pretzel Day, let us know. Let us know if you enjoy the hard or the soft pretzel.